Hi, I'm Graham Blackburn, and this is Traditional Woodworking by Hand. And today's episode is all about identifying old planes. So, a lot of times when you're looking at flea markets, junk stores or whatever, you come across wooden planes. To many people, one wooden plane looks much like another wooden plane. But sometimes you get lucky and you find something really old. So today's episode is about all the things that you should look for just in case. Not so long ago, I was in a store and a plane caught my eye, and immediately I knew that I was looking at something a little unusual. It was this plane here. It's 22 inches, so it was kind of like a short jointer. Here is a more typical long jointer, but a couple of things caught my eye right at the beginning. The first thing was the Tote. That's the proper name for the handle. And unlike modern planes, this is a 19th century or early 20th century wooden plane. You'll see the hole in the Tote is very oval and the actual horn is very short. Whereas this plane, this is almost circular and it had a really big sweeping Tote. Another thing that this plane doesn't have, but which older planes used to have, is that in the beginning the handles were often offset rather than being totally central like this plane here. But apart from that, this plane caught my eye initially because of the Tote, the long handle, even though it had been repaired with a nice screw here, and I could see that over the years, it must have been a lot of years, the stock had shrunk enough to push the front of the Tote up out. So I took a more closer look. The first thing that you look for in any plane, if you care about how old it is some kind of maker's mark. Usually maker's marks are stamped on the toe of the plane. You can see that here. There's a stamp there. New York stamp. It's not too visible, but nevertheless there it is. This plane had been hammered so many times that there was nothing on the toe, there was nothing on the heel. There may have been originally, but over the years that got erased. However, I did notice when I looked at the iron that there was a name on the iron. And that told me a couple of things. Firstly, the name was stamped upside down before it became standard to stamp the name the other way round. Secondly, I noticed that the name was stamped inside a serrated border. That was the practice before maybe, the late 19th, early 20th century. That also told me that this was an older plane. I'll talk a little bit more about the actual name in the beginning, but I did notice that it was James Cam, who a little research divulged was actually an English iron maker. And even when planes started to be made by factories in America, they still commonly imported a lot of English irons. So this didn't necessarily mean that this was a non-American plane. But to continue with all the little details here, I noticed that this plane was considerably heavier than most planes of its size would be. And I thought in the beginning planes used to be made out of all kinds of things, and maybe this wasn't beech, but after I cleaned it up a little bit, I could see that indeed this was beech. Now, older beech is much heavier than newer beech. The weight of this, you can't really see, but this is much lighter compared to this. That was another clue. So I had an old looking tote with a round hole and a really long horn in a stock that was considerably heavier than a regular 19th or even late 18th century plane would have had. And then, of course, I noticed, I just looked more carefully at the iron. The iron, unlike contemporary irons, which are usually flat on the top with the sides nicely chamfered down, this iron, as was typical of much earlier planes, is very round. Here, by the way, is another old Dutch plane, and you can see it also has the long horn, the handle is offset, and the iron is nice and round. This plane has the round iron, but when I took the wedge out, I noticed that it's what's known as an uncut iron, meaning there's no slot in here. What's the slot for? Well, if you look at more recent planes, you'll see there's always a slot because that's how you attach the cap iron. Cap irons didn't really become standard until the beginning of the 19th century or late 18th century. So this was definitely a clue that this was an older plane, and you can see there's no slot down here which would have been necessary for the bolt that would have held this. You put the wedge in and it fits perfectly. And I noticed that over the years, because even though old plane makers prided themselves on using really good quality, well-seasoned stock that didn't shrink, nevertheless, the stock over the course of a couple of hundred years had in fact shrunk a little, and the iron doesn't. So that's why we have these cracks here, because the wood had shrunk around the iron. So here I have an old plane with an uncut iron with a name typically stamped the way old names stamps used to be, but before it became standardized to stamp them upright, this is upside down, and just a single wedge. So together with all these different things, the heavier weight, the longer tote, the rounded iron, the uncut iron, the wedge going in it like that, and no name visible, I was pretty sure that I'd got something really old. Now, I don't know where this was made. James Cam was an iron maker, not a plane maker, and he supplied irons to American-made planes for a long time. But the fact of the tote and the non-stamp, and the fact that there's no strike button here, you all know what the strike button is for. That's how you get the iron out. When you want to remove the iron in a real plane, see, that's perfectly good. You simply hit the strike button and then the wedge comes out. And the strike button is usually a piece of hardwood with end grain. This doesn't have it, but nevertheless you can see how over the years it's been hit repeatedly. That's the same way that you can see how it's been hit repeatedly at the front and at the back. So all those things together convinced me that I had found something that was probably early 18th century. James Cam, as I say, supplied irons. This plane could have been made in America, but it's far more likely, given the density of the wood and the shape of the tote, that this was made sometime in the late 18th century in England. So this was a good sign. Also, there's a few other details, like the chamfering around the stock here is much broader than you get in later planes, and it's finished with nice little offcuts in the front here. So one thing led to another, and I ended up buying it for maybe $10 or so, was delighted to realize that I bought something that was at least 200 years old.